The rifle trembled in my hands the moment I saw her stagger out of the dust storm. She wasn't human. Not even close. Tall, easily 7 feet. Skin the color of burnished copper streaked with faint bioluminescent veins that pulsed weakly, like dying stars. Her eyes were solid black, no whites, reflecting the red Martian sunrise in twin obsidian mirrors. Horn-like crests curved back from her brow, cracked and bleeding where the wind had torn at them. She wore nothing but tattered leather straps and a cloak of woven metallic threads now shredded to ribbons. One clawed hand clutched her throat. The other reached toward me. No words. Just a dry, rasping croak that carried across 50 meters of cracked regolith. I should have shot her. Instead I lowered the barrel. Her knees buckled 10 steps from my cabin door. She hit the ground hard enough to send a puff of rust-colored dust swirling around her. That sound, the wet rasp of lungs starving for moisture, cut deeper than any scream. I've lived alone on the edge of Valles Marineris for 11 years. Exiled. Forgotten. The last human settler who refused to leave when the evacuation order came. They called me a fool. Maybe I was. But I still had one working well pump. And one last shred of something that used to be called decency. I dragged her inside. She was heavier than she looked. Dense muscle and hollow bones engineered for low gravity. I laid her on the only mattress, the one I hadn't bothered to wash in months. Her skin burned under my palms. Fever. Dehydration so severe her lips had split into black fissures. I pressed a canteen to her mouth. She drank. Not like a person. Like a machine gulping coolant. Fast, desperate, spilling half of it down her chest. The bioluminescent lines flared brighter with every swallow. Blue. Then violet. Then steady sapphire. When the canteen ran dry she looked up at me. No gratitude. No fear. Just one slow blink. Then, in perfect, accentless English. Thank you, water giver. Her voice was low, layered, like wind moving through crystal caves. I stepped back. How do you speak? But she was already unconscious again. Chest rising in shallow rhythm. That was only the beginning. Her name was Calith. She told me the next night, after the second storm passed and the cabin temperature dropped below freezing. I had jury-rigged every spare blanket and thermal sheet around her. She still shivered. Her people, she said, were the Vera, nomadic clans that once ruled the equatorial dunes before the terraforming corporations came. Before the aquifers were poisoned. Before the sky engines failed and the oxygen farms collapsed. Before her entire generation was condemned to wander dying worlds, scavenging what little water remained in hidden cisterns and the blood of their own dead. We do not beg, she said, staring at the frost patterns on the ceiling. We take. Or we die. Then why didn't you take from me? Her black eyes found mine. Because you gave. Something in the way she said it made my throat close. I hadn't given anyone anything in years. Not since Sarah died in the last evacuation shuttle. Not since I watched the transport burn up in the thin atmosphere because I refused to board. Guilt is a slow poison. I had drunk deep. Calith healed fast. Too fast. By the 3rd day she could stand. By the 5th she paced the small cabin like a caged panther, wings of thin membrane folded tight against her back. I hadn't noticed the wings before, folded so perfectly they looked like part of her cloak. Now they twitched with every sound outside. She asked questions. About Earth. About why I stayed. About why humans weep when no one is watching. I answered what I could. She never asked about the rifle I kept within reach. But every night, when the temperature plunged and the wind howled like something alive, she moved closer to the heater, and to me. Not touching. Never touching. Just near enough that I could feel the faint heat radiating from her skin. I told myself it was only kindness. I was wrong. On the 7th night the first scouts arrived. I saw them on the perimeter cams, silhouettes against the starfield. 8 figures, taller than Calith, carrying long spears tipped with glowing crystal. They did not approach. They simply watched. Calith stood at the window, motionless. "They are my sisters," she said quietly. "Sisters don't usually carry weapons like that. They are deciding whether you live." My stomach dropped. "Why?" "Because I drank your water." Her voice cracked on the last word. "And because I did not kill you after." I stared at her. "You were supposed to kill me?" "It is custom." She turned, eyes gleaming in the dark. "A debt of life must be paid in life. Either yours or mine." I laughed once. Short, bitter. "So I saved you so you could execute me?" "No." She stepped closer. "I chose not to pay." The scouts vanished before dawn. But more came. Every night, a few more shadows on the ridge. Every morning, fresh tracks circling closer. Calith grew restless. She spoke less. Watched the horizon more. I caught her testing the edge of my old machete against her palm until sapphire blood welled up. "What are you doing?" I asked. "Preparing." "For what?" She looked at me then, really looked. "For the moment they decide I have shamed them beyond forgiveness." I felt cold in a way the Martian night never managed. "Then run," I said. "Take what water you can carry and go." Her wings flared slightly. "I will not leave you to die in my place." I wanted to argue. I wanted to tell her she owed me nothing. But the truth was heavier. I didn't want her to leave. Not anymore. The 18th night they came in force. 200 warrior women. A crescent of spears and glowing crystal blades ringing the cabin on every side. Their bioluminescence turned the regolith blue, like the bottom of an ocean I would never see again. Calith stepped outside first. I followed with the rifle. She raised both hands, palms open. "I claim sanctuary," she called into the wind. "By water given freely. By life spared freely." Silence. Then a single figure stepped forward, older, crest crowned with silver filaments, eyes burning white. "You drank of a soft skin," the elder said. "You carry his scent. You bear his mark." Calith touched her throat where the first canteen had pressed. "I do." "You know the law." "I do." The elder's gaze shifted to me. "And you, water giver, do you understand what you have done?" I swallowed. "I gave water to someone who was dying." A ripple moved through the ranks, whispers in a language like breaking glass. The elder lifted her spear. "Then you will answer for it." Calith moved faster than I could track. She stepped between us, wings spreading wide enough to shield my entire body. "No." The elder froze. "You would die for him?" she asked. Calith's voice never wavered. "I already have." The wind stopped. Every glowing vein on every warrior flickered at once, like stars caught in a single breath. Then the elder lowered her spear. Not in surrender. In recognition. She turned to the others. "The debt is paid," she said. "Not in blood. In water." 200 pairs of black eyes regarded me. Not with hatred. With something far more dangerous. Curiosity. The elder spoke one last time. "You have changed the law, soft skin. Be certain you are worthy of the change." They withdrew. Not quickly. Not fearfully. They simply melted back into the night, leaving only footprints and the faint scent of ozone. Calith folded her wings. She did not look at me. "I did not expect them to listen," she whispered. I touched her arm. First time I had dared. "Why did they?" She finally met my eyes. "Because you gave without asking for anything. Not once. Not ever." I felt the weight of 11 years lift. Just a fraction. "But now they'll watch," she said. "Always." I nodded. "Let them watch." She stepped closer. This time she did touch me, clawed fingers resting lightly against my chest, right over the place my heart refused to quiet. "I am no longer alone," she said. I covered her hand with mine. Neither am I. Outside, the first true dawn in years painted the canyon gold. And somewhere far above, on orbits long abandoned, old satellites might have caught the image. One human. One Vera. Standing shoulder to shoulder on a dying world. Not conqueror and conquered. Not savior and saved. Just two people who chose each other when everything else had already given up. And that choice echoed farther than any of us could yet understand. But that was only the beginning.